Freedom at last. Jubilation in Southeast. As court frees pro-Biafra activist after 4 years in detention. Freedom at last. Jubilation in Southeast as court frees pro-Biafra activist after 4 years in detention. To my dear listeners, finally, there is a jubilation in Southeast as court frees pro-4 activists that were being detained for the past 4 years. Welcome to today's news. An Ebonyi State High Court sitting in Abakaliki has freed 36 pro-Biafra activists who had been held in detention for over 4 years, marking a significant legal victory for the individuals and the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, the separatist movement they support. This development, which culminated on September 27, 2024, came after a protracted legal battle characterized by multiple charges, trials, and rearrest. The announcement was made by Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the lead counsel for IPOB, who recounted the series of events that led to the activist detention and eventual release. According to Ejiofor, securing the release of these individuals was fraught with challenges as the detainees had faced 3 separate sets of charges, all of which were eventually dismissed by the court. The 36th activists, all from Ebonyi State, were first arrested in 2020 and accused of involvement in violent activities connected to the Biafran secessionist movement. The initial charge, registered under case number HAB 29C 2021, was one of murder. However, throughout the trial, the prosecution struggled to present convincing evidence to substantiate the charges. After several months of legal wrangling, the defense team filed a no-case submission, asserting that the prosecution had failed to establish a prima facie case against the defendant. On September 27, 2022, the court dismissed the charges and ordered the release of the detainees, finding that the prosecution had indeed not provided enough evidence to justify the charges. Despite the court's ruling in their favor, the activist ordeal was far from over. Shortly after their release, they were rearrested and arraigned again, this time under a new case number, HAB 43C 2022. The fresh charges included serious allegations such as unlawful possession of firearms, robbery, unlawful association, arson, engaging in conduct likely to cause a breach of peace, and participating in warlike activities. Once again, the prosecution failed to present substantial evidence to back its claims. AGO4, leading the defense, responded with another no-case submission, a legal maneuver arguing that there was no basis for the trial to continue in the absence of concrete evidence. On December 22, 2023, the court once again dismissed the charges, discharging and acquitting all 36 activists for the second time. However, the saga did not end with this second acquittal. While the activists were still awaiting their official release from prison, the prosecution filed a third set of charges under case number HAB 59C 2022. This time, the activists were accused of armed robbery, a serious offense that again led to their prolonged detention despite the previous rulings in their favor. The continued detention of the activists even after repeated acquittals drew criticisms from their legal team and human rights advocates. AGO4 expressed his frustration at what it described as an abuse of the judicial process, stating that the repeated filing of charges against the same individuals without evidence amounted to a gross miscarriage of justice. On September 27, 2024, following the conclusion of the third trial, the Ebonyi State High Court once again upheld the no-case submission presented by the defense and ordered the unconditional release of all 36 activists. The court ruled that the prosecution had failed to present any new or credible evidence to substantiate the armed robbery charges, and as a result, the activists were discharged for the third time.